might be thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to talk about nouns, that thing we learned when we were in grade school. The answer is yes, I am. However, this talk on nouns is going to give you information that if you use it, will help your talks to be more powerful, more moving, more effective. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over what nouns are, going back to school here. We're going to go over why or how they can be used powerfully in your talks. And we're going to go over a real life example. And if you would please, someone tell me, what is a noun? What is a noun?
Name of a person, place, or thing.
Exactly. You remember that from school. A noun is a person, place, or thing, and it's also an idea. There are categories of nouns. Nouns can be either proper or common. They can be abstract or concrete, and they can be collective. Let's go over examples of each of those categories. A proper noun is one that names a specific person, place, or thing. They're always capitalized. Examples are Tennessee, Toastmasters, Taylor Swift. Those are all proper nouns. Common nouns name objects that are not specific, just objects themselves. So for example, a state or an organization or a person. There are abstract or concrete nouns. And abstract nouns are those that name ideals or qualities or characteristics. For example, courage, strength, charm. Concrete nouns are those that you can sense with one or more of your five senses. So some examples of those are cat, house, tree. And then nouns can be collective or not collective. A collective noun is one that refers to a group. So for example, a swarm of bees, or a pack of gum, or a team of players. Let's talk about how nouns can be made powerful. They can be made powerful if you choose them correctly. So we talked about abstract nouns and how they refer to ideals. They refer to concepts. When you mention concepts or ideals in your talks, some examples are love, freedom, security. They bring about, they have an emotional force to them. They'll cause your audience to think of higher ideals. When you want your audience to have the mental film rolling in their head, you use concrete nouns. This creates mental pictures in your audience's mind. So when I say the word kitchen or baby or golden retriever, that probably brings about specific images in your mind. These are two of the qualities of nouns that you can keep in mind when you're putting together your speeches, when you want to raise the outlook of your listeners. You can use abstract nouns. When you want them to picture what you're saying, use concrete nouns. Nouns are also powerful because they have two types of meaning. One is what's called the denotive meaning, and that is the literal meaning of the noun. It's the defined meaning. So we know what a table is, and we can define it, and we know what that is. That's the denotive meaning of, say, for example, the word table. But they also have a connotative meaning. That's the emotional or cultural associations a word evokes. This is beyond its literal meaning. So when you hear the word love or freedom, war, home, race, or communism, things like that, they bring with them emotional force. Your listeners will have an emotional reaction to those nouns. You can choose them carefully for the emotional response you want your audience to have. Let's go through a real life example. I watched a commercial last night and I wrote down the words for it. First, I'm going to go over a paraphrased example of the words in this commercial. I paraphrase this, so this is not verbatim, but we will go over the actual verbatim words here in just a second. Paraphrased, while our nation's athletes are giving their best efforts overseas, we'll be enjoying the show while sipping beer, Michelob beer. All right. The actual words to the commercial are these, and hopefully these actual words have a bit more force to them. While our nation's best are giving their blood, sweat, and tears in Paris, we'll be sweating right along with them. Michelob Ultra. Superior is brewed beer. Now, if we look at this example, the real life example, the actual example here at the bottom, instead of saying nation's athletes, for example, they said nation's best. Best in this sentence is used as a noun, and they are, because they're saying we have sent our nation's best, that carries a force with it. We feel probably a sense of team because of that. It puts you in a certain mood. And they didn't say they're giving their best efforts. They said they're giving their blood, sweat, and tears. These are all concrete nouns that evoke specific images. They're not just giving their best efforts. They've put blood, sweat, and tears, and they're putting that on the line. They're not just doing it overseas, they're doing it in Paris, a proper noun here that puts them in a specific place that's going to conjure up specific images of that place. And we're not going to be just sipping beer. We're going to sweat along with them. Now, of course, in the commercial, they showed the beer bottle that had the condensated water on the outside of the bottle, I guess to give you an image of the bottle sweating. But we're going to be sweating right along with them. Not just Michelob beers, Michelob Ultra, superior is brewed beer. Now, if we take these words and we separate out the nouns, we see what I like to refer to as the house that's built by the nouns. I think of the nouns as the scaffolding or not the scaffolding, the frame to the house that is your speech. They say blood, sweat, tears, Paris, Michelob Ultra, beer. I'm going to highlight those. These are the nouns in that sentence. Best, blood, sweat, tears, Michelob Ultra, beer. These are the nouns that are used in that commercial. As you read through there, probably it creates, the analogy I've used is a house, that the frame of the house of their talk, and creates a certain mood surrounding Michelob beer, which those nouns, Michelob Ultra, beer, ends the commercial. Blood, sweat, tears, Michelob Ultra, beer. They've created an atmosphere for their beer, for their product, using nouns. If you choose your nouns carefully in your talks, you can do the same thing with your speeches. You can create an atmosphere for a speech. You can create an atmosphere for a specific portion of a speech. You can change that atmosphere using different sequences of nouns in a different portion of a speech. Use nouns and their power to make your speeches more powerful.